All right, good evening and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Join me tonight is Aguna, who's going to be a little late, the voice of reason, Stephen, the independent thinker, Keith, the constitutional conservative, and the man in black, my cousin Todd. We have a full show for you tonight. Congratulations to...
How long have we been doing this show before we get started?
Thank you. Since 2011. Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle since 2011. That's
Just
a long
checking.
time. We've been together a long time.
There's my man.
All right. I was having all sorts of
Aguna.
technical difficulties tonight. Why? Congratulations to the Florida Gators as the national NCAA men's basketball champions. Just unbelievable. Tonight at midnight is the deadline for tariffs set by President Trump. I hope you brought everything you need to buy before tonight, because President Trump is going to put a 104% tariff on goods from China. That means your iPhones that were probably $1,500 will now be about $3,500. Get that. Stephen, with that, congratulations to the national NCAA women's basketball champions, the UConn Huskies. Unfortunately, 4 U.S. United States service members were killed in Lithuania. Speaker Johnson's proxy voting bloc for new parents was defeated in a bipartisan vote. Todd says that President Trump removed Black history in America. We'll talk about that by an executive order. A judge orders the U.S. government to return a man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador by the end of yesterday. We'll talk about whether or not he was returned to the United States. The Supreme Court backs Trump for now on fired probationary federal employees. That and more, if we can fit it in. First up, let's see if we can get Stephen to talk about NASCAR. I do not have a clip for you, Stephen. Did you want to talk about NASCAR without a clip?
Sure. This was a throwback race, the Darlington race, and a lot of cars were throwbacks to years and decades ago. One was even a car that was just used in like a Daytona trip, but it was good. It was Darlington. Darlington's always a great race. Denny Hamlin happened to win. He guess he deserved it. Bubba Wallace part of a controversy that he might have taken somebody out to help another guy win, but he didn't. He still came in the top 3 though. But that's what you do when you have a good team and you have good teammates. And he was being a good teammate, but Bubba is starting to bring up the past and some weird stuff. And it's just, Bubba, please just go out there, race a car, just try to pretend to be normal for a little while and just get out there and do your thing and be a great race car driver, be a good teammate, be somebody that's cool. And sometimes you lose that hit. And there's one of his owners, him and Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin, they co-own his car and Tyler Reddick's car. And Michael Jordan was there this weekend. It's so cool to see him there. And he does so much for NASCAR, because who doesn't love Michael Jordan? I don't know anybody that doesn't love Michael Jordan. He goes out there. He's a genuine person. He's good with the people. Everybody's cool with him. All the drivers, all the people that work in the small part or the largest part, whatever they do. And it's really cool to have him there. So it is really, really nice to have the best basketball player that ever played. Nobody can dispute it. And he's involved in NASCAR.
Wait a minute. I think I'll dispute that. I don't know. I'm a Philadelphia 76ers fan, and I think Dr. J and some other players from the Philadelphia 76ers were some of the best players ever.
Oh, honey, you can believe in the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus, too. I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm not going to, but that's your opinion. That's great, and that's cool, and I appreciate that. But no, Michael Jordan is the goatiest goat. He is the goat. Michael Jordan is who they use.
The
Michael
white
Jordan
boy
is who
is
they
the
use
best.
for every other sport. They say like Tiger Woods is a Michael Jordan of golf. Michael Jordan is the best player that ever played whatever. I mean, everybody's got their own feelings and their own personal teams and all that, and I appreciate all of that. But another thing that's really kind of funky about racing right now that I want to mention, that in the top five, we don't have any Fords that are in the top five heading into the points. We have only 2 Fords that are in the top 10. So that's just a plethora of Toyotas and Chevrolets right now, which are just dominating. So it's really hard for Fords to get their foot in. It's been 7, 8 races. I can't remember, but it's about 7, 8 races. But this week, this is a great. They've had Martinsville, Darlington. Now they're doing Bristol. It couldn't be any better for me because these are all really old tracks. This is really great racing. This is what racing is all about, is all the tracks we've just had. It's the best racing, even with the new cars. And Bristol never disappoints. And I would like to get out to Bristol this weekend if I could. So I'm efforting that as we speak, because that would be a good race to see. I'll look, everybody say it. And Denny Hamlin just won the last race at Darlington. He can win this race here as well. Joey Logano can do well. Bell can do well. There's a lot of people that could do well here, but it is Bristol. It's a half-a-mile track. It's about this big, and all the cars are just lined like that. It's so hard to pass. It's so hard to race there, but the best ones, the best racers can. Bell can do well. There's a few people.
All right.
It's really
so
nice.
Keep their sound
Yeah.
down because we heard a reverb.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
play a little bit from this. I did find a clip, Stephen. Kyle Larson hits the wall early on inside. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Kyle Larson. Backstretch. Off of 2. Kevin, you had just told us about how narrow it is over there. There's another problem. There's a bump.
Yeah, and the way that these cars run, a lot of times they bottom out and it'll just jump the back of the car out from underneath you.
Yeah. He had a bad day all around. And he was favored to win the race, but he had a bad day, and that just goes to show it happens to the best of them.
Larson was running 19th when the car got out from under him.
It wasn't the only time. He wrecked maybe 3 times. Yeah, 3 times on Sunday. It was a tough race for him, but he's still up there in the points. He's still a great driver. He's a top 3 driver, top 2 driver. So, but it was a bad day for him, and it's a bad time in the pits a little bit. And a couple other drivers did that need to get their crews to do a little bit better for him. Then they lost the race for him. Like William Byron, his pit crew. He had a great car, but his pit crew was averaging about 33rd out of 38 cars all day long. You can't win a race like that, which I had him, and I wish he had him, but his pit crew was lacking. It's an entire team like every other sport. People forget it's not just a driver, it's not just crew chief, it's the entire team. If your pit crew screws up, you don't have much going for you that day. And that's what happened to a few great drivers on Sunday. We'll see what happens at Bristol. Maybe they'll tighten up a little bit.
Well, I told Todd, he could have had his nephews. I told Todd that I wanted his nephews to be working the pit crew.
Right.
And remember that years ago,
Yeah.
we were on Blog Talk Radio. I said, Todd, that would be a great, possible career for your nephews. He said, why don't you get out there or have your mother get out there and work as a
maybe Todd didn't want his nephews to do better than him in life. You don't know anybody's motivations.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Right. We don't know nobody's motivations, especially Todd's. Not somebody's mother.
Yeah, we don't. It's always about somebody's mother with Todd. Bless his heart.
Hey, Stephen.
Yes, sir.
Stephen, I just wanted to. I'll dispute you only on one thing.
I know one thing. Are we
Dr.
getting
J.
married or not?
Dr. J versus Dr. J versus Jordan. I think Dr. J had a certain skill set that nobody's seen before, and he was first.
Yeah, Dr. J was. Yeah, he was. He was great. He was great for what he did and everything that he had, and he was awesome. He's one of the best basketball players ever, but he's no Michael Jordan. But he's one of the greatest ever. I agree with you. He's awesome. Oh, I love him. Yeah,
I'll say anything to marry you. What about the white boy that fought Dr. J? I thought he was the greatest in your eyes because he's like the great white hope. What was his name from Boston?
Not Jerry
Larry
Bird.
Bird.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, Larry Bird was
Larry Bird
he
was pretty good too, man.
Yeah, he was
Larry
good
Bird was
for-
pretty great.
Yeah. Larry
All
Bird
those,
was
all those, you know, Kevin Hale, Parrish, all those guys from back in that era. And of course, Todd, you would know that because that's your age.
Yeah, he's kind of old.
I don't even
Yeah,
know.
we could do that all night. Yeah, there are some great players that you could put up against him, but it just seems really funky. It's really Michael Jordan had something other people didn't have, and maybe he had a little bit too much of it. You know, he was so competitive, and I think that has been a help and a hindrance to his life as well. Because sometimes when you're way too competitive, it could hurt you. Sometimes you could be over the top, and sometimes Michael Jordan was in a lot of different ways in his life. But he's still a basketball player. I ain't never seen nothing like that before, man.
Okay,
and don't take anything away from Magic. You know, Magic.
Oh yeah. I said we could do it all night. There's so many good basketball players, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And don't take anything away from Bruce Jenner.
There you go. But he was better when he kept his twigs and berries.
Yeah.
Of course,
He's just not the same. He's just not the same. He's half the man he used to be now.
Why would you be so interested in his twig? Look! Oh, that was a good one. I want to make love to him too. Good Lord, you people are sick.
He's always bringing that up, and he's always blaming us, Steve. He's the one that brings this up.
I know, but
and you jump all over it.
Man.
You jump all over it in his mind. You're jumping all over it.
Man.
I think you got this. You got this, Keith. You got it.
All right. I want to move on.
What? Wait. Is Aguna trying to get married too? What are you saying, Aguna?
It's a threesome.
Oh.
Not hardly.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Go on, Stacey.
Let's move on to college football.
Todd, you're odd man out.
Basketball. I want to move on to college basketball.
I can't.
All of our predictions horrible. And this is what makes March Madness. March Madness. You know, who would ever think, Aguna, that it would be Houston versus Florida? I mean, I'm glad that, you know, it wasn't Duke, the college basketball royalty. I'm sad that it wasn't Auburn, but they did make it to the Final Four. But who would have ever thunk?
I did. I knew Florida would get it because if anybody can remember, I said I'm picking the Dolphins to win.
I said he did. He did. He did.
Thank you, Todd. Yeah, so it was interesting to say the least. I did pick Duke to win it all. I did pick Florida. I thought it was going to be Florida versus Duke in an ACC SEC showdown, but yeah, it was kind of weird just the ending of the championship game where Houston, it was almost like a double dribble or a double touch or illegal, almost a travel up and down, whatever. But it was it was a very close game, very competitive game. I thought Houston had it. Florida came back, and then the way that last sequence at the end was an unfortunate way to end it. But I think this is Florida's third title. I think they won back to back in 2006. So hats off to the SEC. So Florida, you know, they won it. But yeah, Duke has to be very disappointed, especially the way that they lost to Houston. And Houston seemed like a team of destiny once they got past Duke. That's what everybody's bracket was buzzing after that. So, but I did predict Florida to be there. I just didn't think Florida was going to beat Houston. I thought Duke was going to beat Houston and of course win in the final. So,
right.
Oh, well.
Let me play this clip. Take the sound off.
Man, oh man, new champion crowned in college basketball. We're talking about the Florida Gators this morning. They cut down the nets last night. And
What are we looking at?
I think it's over.
Houston had that game.
Oh, I'm
Defense
sorry.
travels. Houston had that game. They should have won that game. They were
I'm
up.
sorry. I thought I was sharing that. How come that didn't share? The screen didn't share. Sorry about that. Let me go back to it. Go ahead. Sorry. Here we go.
Pure joy, bedlam, pandemonium, a moment the students here will never forget.
Great game. We played our hearts out, and that's how it ended. We ended as champs. National champs. Let's go. National champs all the way.
How big is this for you?
Oh, absolutely huge. That's the first year winning a natty the first year. This is insane.
Go Gators! Go Gators! Go Gators! Go Gators! Let's go!
Oh, shut up.
Emotionally draining game, a game which required incredible resilience for Florida to beat Houston. The game was on the screens, but it felt immediate inside the building.
The atmosphere is crazy. Awesome. It's awesome. Go Gators!
All right, Todd. All right, Todd.
Yeah, shut up. I agree with Todd. Shut up.
University Avenue.
What does this victory mean to you?
This
Nothing.
means the best night of my entire life. Go Gators!
And the Gators did not back down, and that made all the difference.
The game ended in such dramatic fashion. It fueled the energy and the burst we saw here from the crowd inside the O'Connell Center. And without question, they can all say tonight that it's great to be a Florida Gator. We're in Gainesville. Ari Odzer, NBC6 News.
Hey,
All
Stephen,
right.
don't agree with Todd because Todd may go opposite if you agree with him.
I know.
Stephen, I mean, I think that was great in that, it was a different team. And we have to remember when those kids are doing all that, they're children. Well, they're not children. They are young adults in college.
They're
That's
babies.
what adults in college do.
Compared to us, they're babies. They're not even children. They're toddlers.
You, Todd and Keith, they're babies. You're right.
Yeah, you're right, Stacy. Present
Todd is not
company
as old
included.
as I am.
So
Todd is really old. He just takes care of himself.
Really?
all right.
Are
Let me
you
show
high?
this. Can you hear it? I can't hear it. Okay.
Today's Huskies were crowned the women's NCAA champions tonight, blowing out defending champs South Carolina. Today's win marks the Huskies' 12th national championship title. Steve Overmeyer is here now with more on this big win.
Yeah, a little bit of a return to glory
Yeah.
here for UConn women's basketball. In fact, it's been 9 years since UConn won it all. And considering
Wow.
that they've been over the past 30 years, it really underscores their high expectations. Today, they met those standards. In the title game, UConn beat South Carolina by 23 points. Paige Buchers ends her career with a national championship as she prepares to enter the WNBA. This was truly a dominant dance for the Huskies. They won every game of the tournament by double digits, and now they get to celebrate under a shower of confetti.
Wow.
It means a lot to me personally, obviously, that we can still do this after all these years. But I've said this 100 times. Tomorrow I get up in the morning and I'm the same person and have the same things and same friends and same family. But these kids, their lives have been changed forever. And I'm glad that I had a part in that.
Later in sports, we'll tell you exactly how this win also solidifies UConn's place as the most decorated program in college basketball history. Just an incredible job that Gina Ariam has done over there.
I love the humility.
All right, Stephen, let's start with you. Were you surprised about the Gamecocks?
Yeah, I was surprised about that game because I thought UConn had every time I looked at women's college basketball, they were winning. I didn't know it had been so long since they had won. And I don't want to take anything away from South Carolina and Aguna's team, but I think that's a great accomplishment. And who is it? The top woman? She's getting ready to go into NBA for UConn. It's great. Maybe they can treat her right when she gets there and just not beat her up like it's her first week in prison or first month in prison like they did whatever her name is, because I don't watch anymore. But Celebrate them. That's great for them.
What in the world is he talking about?
What was that
Prison.
girl's name that got beat up? She got beat up like she was went to prison, like she was in she was in gin pop. I can't remember her name because I stopped watching women's college. Yeah, Caitlin Clark. She got beat up so bad her own teammates didn't even help her. They didn't even pick her up off the ground when she got rolled over by a steamroller. You know, that's just crazy. I've never seen anything like that. But I hope that this white woman coming into the NBA doesn't make everybody mad and get run over by a steamroller. And it would just be nice if your teammate would be on your side. Thank you, Todd.
He never says anything about that.
I don't know what that was.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes,
Your friend Nas is here,
welcome
Stephen.
now. Let's see who he is this week. Reverend Doctor.
It's Count Chocula. Is he going by the name Count Chocula?
Welcome, Reverend Dr. Pastor. Go ahead.
Reverend Dr. Chocula.
That way. But no, sidebar, Caitlin Clark is one of the best women's players of all time. She's all WNBA. She had a great season. Yeah, rookies who are phenoms get guarded physically. That's true in every sport, women's, men's, whatever sport you want to think of. It's always been the case. But that reporter was a little too happy about the blowout score. I believe she should be fined from her company. I don't like how happy she was about talking about how much UConn won by. But yeah, shout out to UConn, man. They're the great, like UCLA and women's basketball. They've taken a decline because now the talent kind of goes everywhere as opposed to them getting all of it. So it was good for them to come back and get one. But the scary thing I've seen today, sports research, women are 25% more likely to get an ACL injury playing major basketball. That shocked me to find that out. So the woman we're talking about who just won, Paige Buckers, she's had two over her lifespan. And now she's going on to the WNBA. But yeah, that kind of surprised me, man. I did not know that.
Did they say why women are more susceptible to ACL injuries? Is it because they don't condition themselves as well?
Their bodies are not built for that.
It's more just physical makeup and how the game is played. Just so much stress on the body, hips, legs, everything.
That's right.
But yeah,
maybe
just
they
check
can
the study out when you find it.
Maybe they can find stuff to stabilize the knee. Maybe they can hook something up to their knees.
Don Staley, they'll be back next year.
Yeah,
he'll come back with even more players.
Let me have
I have a question.
Don Staley. No, Aguna's up, and then you can talk.
Well, I just had a question while we're on this topic of Caitlin. While we're on the topic of Caitlin, I didn't know. I thought Stephen and Keith did not want men playing women's sports. So Caitlin, and when did Caitlin get back into sports? I thought after he retired, and changed his name from Bruce Jenner to Caitlin. I didn't know that these guys still liked him.
Well, Todd,
they let
first of all,
let anything go.
We never said we didn't want women to play men's sport. We said we didn't want women to play men in men's sports, depending on the sport. You know,
Caitlyn Jenner. What do you call Caitlyn Jenner?
Just like Nas said, there's certain things that women and men do not compare with physically. In case you haven't learned. So they don't need to be playing each other.
See, he's talking about the other Caitlyn. He's not really talking about Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's talking about Caitlin Clark.
And since Bruce Jenner doesn't exist anymore, I guess all of his records are null and void. He doesn't exist.
Thank you, Keith. I'm sure
they can take his testicles and his penis away, but they can never take his awards away from him.
All he talks about.
I don't know. Steven's fascinated with that. But anyway.
No, they can take his jewels, but they can't take his trophies. They can take his jewels, but not his trophies.
Thank you, Stephen Aguna.
Thank you.
It wasn't funny the first time, Stephen. Hey, so
nothing's funny to you because you're on the left.
Come on, let's move on. Let's hold off on the name calling until we get to that part. But anyway, talking to Dawn Staley, she's still a great coach. She got to she got a couple of them, going for a third. But this is the return of UConn. For a while it was just UConn, Tennessee, UCLA. There was nobody else, right? So now you see, last year there was a lot of popularity around women's basketball. So this is kind of like the return of the king a little bit. And Gino has done a great job at UConn. So by far, he's going to go out on top from a women's head coaching perspective, a women's basketball head coaching perspective. But Don Staley, to Naz's point, is going to be around. Yeah, I wanted her to win, but at the same time, man, the UConn came out there and just dominated. I mean, you could see from the very first quarter, I think, they had jumped out. South Carolina jumped out a little bit, but then they jumped out, didn't look back. Their defense was really phenomenal. And I've never seen the bigs at South Carolina get shut down like that. It was just they wanted it. They wanted it. The crowd was into it. So it was definitely theirs to lose. It kind of reminded me of the Philadelphia Eagles and what we did to the Kansas City Chiefs. It was just dominant performance in the championship. So yeah, congratulations to UConn. But yeah, to Naz's point, Don Staley's not going anywhere. She's going to be back. She has a great recruiting class. She already has a great core team. Her leading point scorer, I believe, this year was a freshman. So I mean, she has a pretty good squad going on, and I think she only lost three games this year. So again, women's basketball is going to be still very popular. You're going to see LSU. You're going to see and then of course Texas, who beat Carolina down in Texas. So the rivalries are picking up. So it'll be good to see next year.
Yeah, and what I was sharing, which I will share again, is I talked about last week how Duke is it's like royalty of college basketball for men. Well, for women, University of Connecticut is like royalty for college basketball for women. I'm sorry. So Diana Taurasi, who is one of the all-time best, better than Caitlin Clark. She's better. She has more awards than Caitlin Clark. And she is one of the best ever female awarded basketball players, professional college Olympic level for United States. Now, I'm sure there are probably some other basketball players, female women, that are just as good, if not better than her, but she's the one that we have the stats on for winning all across the board. And so she came from University of Connecticut. University of Connecticut is women's college basketball, one of the royal, just like South Carolina is. So, I mean, that was going to be a tough game for South Carolina to win anyway. And I'm not surprised they lost because they went up against a hell of a team. And I mean a hell of a team. Did you say something, Reverend Dr. Pastor, before you self-deported?
No, I wasn't going to say anything about that. Just Paige Beckers and Azzy Fudd, who's going to be at UConn again next year. She's amazing. But yeah, this is the first time I ever thought I would say the women's game was better than the men's championship game. Like, we're in a weird time right now.
Right. And another thing about the women's championship game, I thought was very interesting. There's a man as a head coach and not a woman. He's like a minority in that area. So that's a different change, right? Well, let's show from our viewer. You Gotta Love YouTube said, what about the female fencing player who took the knee against the trans woman player?
Fencing player? Are we seriously talking about fencing? Sir, when have you went to a fencing event? Whoever that is, please tell us how many of these events you've been to.
I think if two people are fencing, it's a man and a woman doing fencing. I look at that almost like darts.
Okay. So does anyone have anything else on sports before we move into politics? Anybody else have something to cover?
Bad that national championship game is, nobody cares. Nobody even brought it up. It was just last night. Nobody cared.
Stacey,
we did talk about a little
comment
bit.
on the fencing. I'm going to comment on the fencing. Yeah. I think it's very good that she did what she did because it's just not. It's not a open or fair competition because a man posing as a woman,
anti-American to take a knee.
Yes, it's unfair. It's just
It's
unfair.
anti-American to take a knee.
And a man posing as a woman is like
It's
Nas posing
anti-American
as
to
a
take a
pastor.
knee.
See,
That's
it's like
anti-American.
Nas, he poses as a pastor. See, it's
No,
deceptive. It's
taking a
deceptive.
knee.
It's dishonest.
That's
Very
disrespectful
wrong.
to the
But
flag.
Keith, do you
Yeah.
think? Don't you think a woman should be able to keep up with a man when it comes to fencing, or she just can't? Or she can't be that fast? And you don't take strength. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just kind of quick.
Yeah, but it
All
wasn't.
she had
It's
to
not
do was
about
find an
that.
inside and touch
No, it
him
wasn't
with the
about that.
with the
Let's
point.
That
cherry pick
wasn't
the
the issue
sport.
to me. That wasn't the
It's
issue
the
to me.
Oh, I
principality.
know.
It's
Just
the
women
principality
in
of it.
sports.
He
It's the
says
principality
he's
of it.
competing against a
No, the
woman
principle.
because
The
he says he's a
principality.
woman and he's a liar. He is deceptive. You don't enter into that
Right.
competition.
Yeah, I
in
understand
a
what you're saying,
deceptive.
Keith. I understand.
Okay,
Yeah, he
so
should
Hey,
have.
how about the two guys? How about the two guys that were the pool? They were one of the two was going to win the pool playing championship, and none of the
Yeah.
women, all of the women got, didn't get that far. But it came down to two men. I mean,
Yeah.
what it's doing, and Keith, what it's doing, and Stacy is it's keeping women out of the capability of winning these situations. Which is like, why can't men just stay in their sports, women be in their sports? That's all it is.
okay, you gotta love YouTube says, calm down, Dr. Pastor, and then says, was just bringing it up as a related topic.
Yeah, but see, when you bring stuff like
Really?
that up with your bougie self, this is to that caller who must be bougie talking about fencing, wanting to get us started on these drag queens.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna move on. Oh, did anyone else have anything in sports before I move on?
Yes, I want to
Hey,
ask
bring
that
up another one.
Shadow.
The NBA,
What?
the NBA is headed to playoffs.
Look, nobody's talking about baseball right now, Stephen.
Yeah, I stand corrected, but I sit corrected as well.
Todd, what did you want to say? Hurry up, you're wasting
Oh,
our
I was just going to talk about the Bougetto person that called him with this comment about fencing, but never mind.
You already did. You said that. So
I did not. I was going to lay into that person, but
go ahead.
No.
Hurry up. Lay into them.
Yeah,
No, let Todd will be
Go
nice.
ahead.
I won't. A fencing event.
Todd's the one that wrote
family
it.
and
That's why he's
friends.
having a hard time with it. Todd's the one that wrote that.
No. A fencing event consists of family and friends in the crowd and the people that work there. That's it. Ain't nobody coming to see no damn fencing. Get out of here.
I would go
That's
see
true.
fencing.
You gotta love YouTube.
All right, let me move on. Thank you. I thought Aguna would have something more with the NBA, but let's move on.
Yeah. Sixers aren't in it, so.
Sixers aren't in it, so we ain't going to be down with it.
Judges
That's how it is.
that blocked the Trump administration from using a centuries-old wartime law called the Alien Enemies Act to deport migrants to El Salvador. CBS News Department of Justice reporter Jake Rosen joins us on the phone. Jake, explain to us what the Supreme Court decided, and does this mean those flights can continue?
Right, Lindsay. So this means that Judge Boasberg's order that blocked the future use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport alleged Tren de Aragua gang members can continue. So there were about 200 to 300, according to court filings, people out there in the United States, either in government custody or that the government is aware of, that they have wanted to deport. Some of them have been deported. The administration has touted through other immigration measures, but not everyone has been deported yet. So they're allowed to use that. But this case was really not the big win that the Trump administration has been saying and touting on social media that it is. It kind of was on two different fronts. On one front, it says that any challenges to where people are being detained and to get people free from potential deportation efforts and to have their cases adjudicated, those cases need to be done actually where they're being detained, like in Louisiana, which has been where so many of these people have been held, or in Texas. They can't just be brought in Washington, D.C., like we've seen in this big case involving the ACLU. In addition to that, it also requires that there be some kind of due process and reading someone their rights and giving someone notice that they're about to be deported, which has not happened. And the Trump administration has argued against that, saying that they actually don't need to do any of that. So in some ways, this is a victory for the attorneys who brought this case in the first place, because everyone, all 9 Supreme Court justices, as well as the appeals panel that overheard this case a couple of weeks ago, agrees that there needs to be some kind of adjudication, that the government, as we've reported on all day, Lindsay, needs to put some kind of check and balance in place to make sure that people who claim that they're not Tren de Aragua gang members can actually prove that in a court.
All right, Jake Rosen, thank you.
All right, let me have comments. Let's start with Aguna, then Keith, and then Reverend Doctor, then Stephen, then Todd. Aguna?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, again, it's part of it is due process, but the argument is that the executive branch has the power to make these calls. So it's funny how it's playing out in the judicial branch, and you see how I think the president was talking about impeaching the judges that don't make rulings in his favor. But I mean, the important thing is there is a process. And if the process is broken, then you fix the process legislatively. You don't necessarily have to do it through executive action. So we'll see. Again, this is a distraction from other things, but again, it's what the media does.
Keith?
Yes, the Alien Act of 17.
We can't see you, Keith.
Well, I was going to read something. That's okay. The Alien, I'll just paraphrase. The Alien Act of 1790, that was way back then. It was done, it was made by Congress, put into law, and it hasn't changed. There may have been some amending, but the Alien Act, in essence, says that the president has the authority by the Constitution to not only deport terrorist, criminals, but also even citizens. And they have that authority. He has that authority to do that when they are enacting some type of violent act or, some type of treason against the United States. So even a citizen who acts treasonous against the United States could be deported, could be, rescinding his citizenship or her citizenship. And that's by the law. That's by law. And I'm just paraphrasing. I don't have it in front of me, but you can go and look it up. It's the 1790, and that's the Alien Act. And it is, they do have the right. That's why the Supreme Court said that they had the right, because it is according to law. So it is what it is.
They mean the executive branch?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Executive branch. The president.
So part of this
has
is just because they have the authority doesn't mean it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do.
Who determines
so that's your
that?
argument against it. Your argument is
we
that
want to get the bad guys out of
here's
this
my
country.
point. Hold on, let me finish.
I just believe there's a balance. I just think
This
there's
week,
a
I'm
balance.
not doing it. One at a time. People were complaining they could not hear anyone's point. I'm not doing it this week. So please let someone finish, then go. You know when people finish. And Aguna, take a breath so you can stop talking, because I know you've practiced how to breathe and not stop talking.
No, unlike other people on this show, but so if Keith is saying that the executive branch has the right, of course, I mean, he have executive orders, so duh. But at the end of the day, is it the right thing to do? And why don't you let Congress legislate? If there are laws that need to happen, we the people elected Congress. So if you do I've always been this way. I think there should be a balance of power. There's a reason why you have the judiciary, the legislative, and executive branch. So just because your boy is in office, kind of thing, and hey, now I'm gonna believe in everything he does, doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. There should be a balance. So it's going through the courts, right? So this is what democracies are about. It's a balance of power, but Congress should still do their job.
Well, the court said that he could do it, so that's the whole point. And the Supreme Court said it was he has that authority. So there, it's settled.
Thank you. Do you remember the time? Did anybody remember when we were on Blog Talk Radio and Aguna had his friend Terrence would come on and they would talk nonstop? It's like they had practiced to be able to breathe and not take a breath and keep talking. I don't know how they did that, but they just went on. Do you remember that?
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
I
That's back in the
practiced.
Biden administration, or is that back in the Obama administration? You're doing
Obama.
what
It was
Keith and
Obama.
Stephen do. They go back to the previous administrations and blame them for all their trouble. So no,
What
we don't remember that.
Do you guys want alien criminals to reside here in the
Okay,
United
no
States?
questions. I
We're
gotta
not
get.
taking the bait. We're not taking the
Gotta
bait.
Yes,
get. We're not taking
the answer is yes, Keith.
Okay,
Yeah,
Stephen.
because
Thank
your
you.
boyfriend said so.
Thank you, Stephen.
Before you
The
go,
answer is yes, and I love you too, Keith.
all right,
Well,
let me
it's
play
obvious,
this.
Stephen.
Excuse me, let me
Look
play
at him.
this.
Keith,
Can I play this, please?
I love your soul, Keith. You're a great man.
You too, man.
Get a
You
room.
too.
Back this man to the United States from the high security prison in El Salvador, where he was deported by mistake. Judge Paula Zilla saying deporting Kilmar Abrego Garcia, an undocumented immigrant, was, quote, an illegal act.
Kilmer, if you can hear me, I miss you so much.
Abrego Garcia's wife, Jennifer, who is an American citizen, says her husband is the man in these images from that prison. The Department of Homeland Security acknowledges he was mistakenly put on a plane to El Salvador.
Did
with
you
more
hear
than
that?
200 men, the administration claims are
That's his opinion.
because of an administrative error.
Was an administrative error. The administration
Did you
maintains
hear that?
that this individual who was deported to El Salvador and will not be
It's a little
returning
error.
to the country
Little
was
bitty
a
error.
member of the brutal and
Now it's an
vicious
error.
MS-13 gang.
But today, Judge Zinn
You
is
were
saying
wrong.
in a court of law, when someone is accused of membership in such a violent and predatory organization, it comes in the form of an indictment, complaint, criminal proceeding, a robust process so we can address the facts. I haven't yet heard that from the government.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.
Okay, cousin Todd.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought I was
that
doing.
was
Oh, okay, that's right. You're right. I'm sorry. You
You
were
didn't see the
going,
tattoos? You
Steven.
didn't see the tattoos on
Yeah,
his arm?
I
Yeah,
see, I
tattoos
see his
are illegal.
tattoos. Hey, Keith. Hey, everybody. Donald Trump has a mandate, and he's got to do it right away. He said he's going to get rid of these people who came in this country illegally, and the first one he's going to get rid of are the worst ones, the very worst ones. And this guy that you're talking about, or you're worried about, or you're peeing your pants about, or wetting the bed, whatever it is you people are doing, Todd, whatever you're so upset about it, this guy's a really bad guy. And this Donald Trump
and
has a
you know
mandate,
that
and
how?
we
How do you
support
know
him,
that?
and we agree that Donald Trump is doing what we want. We want him to get these scumbags out of here.
How
This
do you
guy
know
here,
he's a
MS-13
scumbag?
or the Valva La Viva La Cheese or whatever they are,
How do you
whoever these
know?
gangs are, get them out of here first. Get the bad guys and to get anybody else that broke the law that's in this country out of here, that's in this country illegally. Get them out of here because this country never should have been treated like this. If you think this country should have been invaded the way it was by these people that are the worst people in the world, that your people let in here, then you need to be kicked out of this country as well. And eventually we may get to that. So we have everything you've ever said, everything you've ever thought, everything you ever do. We have that right now. So watch what you say because we're in charge now. We're in charge of the DOJ. We're in charge of the CIA and the FBI. You have done nothing but tore us to pieces. Now we're in control now. Now we're in control. With Donald Trump has a mandate, we want to get the worst people out of here, and you don't because you people on here, except for Keith, are evil. You people are evil. That's why you want to keep. That's why you want to keep those people here. That's why you want to do it because you're.
Okay, I said thank you 10 times. You can't go on nonstop, Stephen.
Yeah, but
Nobody,
let him.
Stephen.
I know, Stacey. I didn't hear
No
you.
one interrupted you.
I know, Stacey. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you because I was running my mouth.
A
You
comment.
are sorry. You are sorry.
No, I'm exactly right. No, you're.
Stop. Not too much, Todd. You gotta love YouTube said not too much, and I think they were talking about you getting on them. And then Aguna said Stephen is on the show looking like a stunt double from the movie Deliverance. Okay, Aguna. All right, so let
You've
me,
never seen
Todd.
that movie.
Todd.
I've seen that movie. I've seen that
Yeah,
movie.
you lived
Todd,
that
do you
movie.
want to comment on
Oh,
this
I lived that movie.
situation?
Right.
Yeah, I wanted
I
to
was
say,
Burt Reynolds.
listen to this nut job. I wanted to say when he was saying they evil, and you're evil, and you're not gonna take you no more, and all that.
You're
kind of
evil.
We're in
crazy
charge.
stuff.
We're
You're
in
evil.
charge. We're in charge.
You're
How
evil.
would he know if this person is from that gang when he wasn't ever allowed to go to trial? So he
Because they
could
know
not
he's
prove.
MS-13, and because
Hey,
of his
shut up!
tattoos, they knew
Shut
he was a
up!
bad guy.
Shut up!
Steven, remember how no one talked while you talked? Literally, no one talked.
And look, and this is how he does because he's the devil. He'll put himself. He'll
Put
take his
himself in
camera
timeout.
off. Yeah. So anyway,
He's like a
this
little
is the
brat.
thing. This is the thing here. You don't know if he's a gang member or not because you didn't allow him to go to court and either prove or disprove. And this is what the Supreme Court said you cannot do. And this is
They
what
said he doesn't have to come back. They said they don't have to bring him back to the States.
well
They're going to let El Salvadoran country, I guess, deal with it.
well, that's not they didn't quite say that. They're discussing what to do now. They're not sure. And the lower court is doing that. But just imagine you've been deported illegally and sorry, even though we were wrong. What kind of America is that? Oops, my bad. And
Well, it's the kind of America that Stephen was just describing. He said he's for democracy, yet if you have a dissenting opinion, all of a sudden it's our
Get out of
country
here.
and you get out.
Yeah.
It's our we own the DOJ, we own all these things, and we're
Yeah.
coming after you if you disagree with us.
Yeah.
So the bottom line of it is that's what you should be afraid of.
That's not what I said.
Guys who's like him that claim they're for America, for democracy, but they're really fascists.
Yeah.
No, we're not fascists. No, we're not coming after you with no charges. We're coming after you with charges because you're the bad guys.
It's on
You came after us and we were innocent on January 6th. Donald Trump was innocent and you tried to impeach him. You tried to kill him. No. We're the good guys. We don't do you like that. Our God,
Okay, excuse me. Stop talking.
our God tells us to.
This is
Excuse
nonsense.
me. Stop talking.
It sounds fanatical.
Okay, Chris C.
Right.
If you look at the comment from a viewer, Chris C. said, Stephen, didn't your family come in this country illegally?
No, they did not come in here illegally.
And You Gotta Love YouTube says, typical MAGA, under the delusion that he's part of the 1%.
We don't even know what that means.
I'll tell you what that means. That means Trump hates poor people like you, and he would not even allow you near his Mar-a-Lago hotel.
But I'm not. But I'm not poor, Todd.
You're not rich, and that's all he wants.
Why do you assume I'm not rich?
Okay, stop.
Look in the mirror.
He said, Keith, keep
Book
clapping.
by a cover.
Keith, keep clapping. You'll be next to be deported. So that's my question. What happens when, unfortunately, an African American male is deported and sent back to El Salvador? And he says, I'm not from El Salvador. I'm American. I'm from California. Reverend Doctor.
Oops, sorry.
Pastor.
Too bad.
We've already seen a couple instances of that. There's a Haitian immigrant who was born here, never lived there. And now is his first time being in Haiti. There was someone from Nigeria, and I believe the Sudan also had that same issue going on where people are being sent there who've never actually lived there.
Well, they're evil.
But the bigger thing here to understand is there's an old saying, be careful when fighting monsters lest you become one. So due process is really important. I don't care if you're a small government conservative or the biggest lefty liberal, progressive you ever seen. Because the idea is you never want to give the state so much power that it can overwhelm you just by decree. You want what? Due process. You want your day in court.
That's all.
We've got gang units. We've got gang databases. We've got criminologists who've studied these gangs for decades, who can actually, filter out who's who and do the process correctly. And in that way, you won't have egg on your face where, the representative of the administration has to get on stage and say, oh, we made a mistake.
Yeah, but he had a tattoo.
Well, you just upended someone's whole life and you walking away with it's a mistake. So somebody's going to win a Pulitzer for a couple of these stories because these are going to be like really inviting stories that not only are a lot of Americans going to watch these and kind of feel something, but people across the globe are going to watch these and feel something. And this whole bully on the block, we need no allies. Good luck with that. Didn't work out for the last country who tried
Well,
that.
I agree.
We have plenty of allies. We have plenty of allies.
What's the last country that tried that?
Let's say they probably responsible for starting 2 world wars.
And what's the name of the country?
Germany.
He said that one real quick.
What did he say? I didn't hear him. What did he say?
He said Germany.
But this is the thing. Keith and Stephen both know that you should have due process and you can't deport somebody over a tattoo. Now, really, they know better, but they're jumping on this hype thing, especially Stephen.
But do you really think they got rid of a guy that is a good guy? Do you think this guy was a good? You think it was a good guy, Todd?
Hey, stupid Stephen. They said they made a mistake.
No, it was a clerical error, but it wasn't a mistake for getting rid of him. And the country's better because he's not in it any longer. This country's a better place because that bastard is gone. He's not a good guy, and for you to celebrate him shows how much of a dumbass you are, Todd.
See how?
No, you should not be on here arguing for that guy. It makes you stupid, Todd.
The fact
I
that you
can't
think
be.
this is an argument for an individual.
You're hurting my sensibilities here. You're not that stupid, Todd.
We're on the side of
You're not that stupid, Todd.
Okay, thank you. I've got to move on.
Always
You gotta love
is
YouTube
due
says exactly.
process.
And then Aguna says Stephen comments are un-American. Now we as American are evil for having an opinion.
Yes.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the
Right. The conservatives couldn't have an opinion in 2021. No conservative could have an opinion in 2020. Yeah, wipe our eyes. We never treated you like that, Aguna. Hey, Aguna, you know you're on the side of evil, and you know where you're going to end up. So I don't feel sorry for you. Cry.
And you're the judge of that.
Cry, baby, cry. Cry, baby, Aguna. Cry, baby, cry.
Stephen, I'm glad they agree.
It's very important that our viewers see this and hear this. It's very important to see what's happening.
Go ahead,
You
Reverend
see what
Doctor.
you're dealing with.
Cry, baby. Cry, baby, cry.
See?
We have to.
What a moron.
We have to stop doing this thing where conservatives or liberals say that they've been silenced or anything else. Look,
Nonsense.
Joe Rogan, the biggest podcast out there. There's 4 conservative-only TV networks.
Let them
There's
whine,
over
though. Let 'em
150 public radio stations that come. Like, you hear the conservative opinion out there. And liberals, the same thing. You got the TV shows,
Where?
outlets, YouTube,
Name
Facebook,
them.
everything. All of this stuff is out
Name
there.
it.
I just
Name
named
it.
3 of them.
He just
you
did.
okay?
Which one? What are
He
they?
just
He just
did.
said Joe
Are you
Rogan,
okay?
you dumb black
He just
loogie.
did.
What
He
are they?
literally just did.
Okay, thank you. I got to move on.
No,
All right.
no.
Better
Hey, but
arguments.
Stacey,
Better arguments, Keith. You got to come better than
so
this.
at least
Keith.
you guys
and Stephen
agree.
need to
At
come
least,
better.
so
You need
Stacey,
to come
before you
better than
leave,
this. Do your
let me
research.
just say,
Go ahead, hurry
let
up.
me say this. Let me say this. At least they agree. We all agree that January 6th, all of these guys did not
We
get
don't agree.
We
a
weren't
due
talking about
process.
January 6th.
And we weren't talking about that. So, no.
Right
And
on.
they
They did not
always
get
support.
due process.
They all
They were
went to
not
court.
treated right.
They all
American
went to court.
citizens should not
They
be
did.
treated the way they were.
They
It
went to
doesn't
court.
matter. They had their day in
Gentlemen
court.
and women.
No, they
that
did
went
not
to
have the day in court.
did
There was a
get due
kangaroo court.
process. What is
They
wrong with
had
It wasn't a
Nonsense,
real
brother.
day in court.
Thank
You're
you.
deflecting.
Thank you. I got to
Stop.
move on.
Shut
Thank
up.
you.
Not deflecting at all. We're telling the
Shut
truth.
up. Shut up. Shut up.
Shut up,
Let's
ass.
go. Let's go.
Shut up, Aguna.
Tonight, after another bold move by President Trump, this time taking aim at the Smithsonian Institution. He
Listen
says
to
the foot
it's
is
to
also a
restore
bold
truth
move.
and sanity to American history. Critics say he's trying to whitewash it. 7 News' Carl Willis tonight with both
Listen
sides.
to this.
The Smithsonian Institution, the world's largest museum, education, and research complex, and a powerful draw for visitors like Talisha Betia.
There's the Indian Museum, the African American Museum, all the Smithsonian's. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's also the latest target of the Trump administration and the focus of an executive order that aims to remove what the administration considers anti-American ideology. Certain narratives on the country's racial history, part of the executive order reads, quote, Over the past decade, Americans have witnessed a concerted and widespread effort to rewrite our nation's history, replacing objective facts with a distorted narrative driven by ideology rather than truth. The order also seeks to remove recognition of the achievements of trans women in the American Women's History Museum.
I feel like that's overstepping their boundaries of what the government, because it should be open and equal to everybody.
The executive order specifically mentions the Smithsonian American Art Museum, as well as the National Museum for African American History and Culture, for having divisive race-centered ideology. And some say this is an attempt to erase history.
It really hurts your generation, because your history is who you are.
And more controversy over a separate executive order this week.
This is only the latest in a pattern of attacks on our ability to control our own affairs.
The order would create a surge of law enforcement in public areas, maximize immigration enforcement, and help DC's crime lab get its accreditation.
We have a lot of good things happening in our country.
Patrice Sultan with DC Justice Lab says this makes her feel unsafe.
I actually see it as quite dangerous to keep doubling down on policies we know have failed just to score political points with people who don't even live here.
Carl Willis, 7 News.
Now, 7 News.
Now, this Smithsonian thing, you're going to take away funding because they're telling the truth about history? Not Black history, just history, American history. How Blacks from Africa were brought here and sold into slavery. So now he wants to somehow pretend that didn't happen. Or like his boy Toy from Florida said, well, it was a good thing because it gave them a trade, those slaves. Huh? And so this is what Trump is doing. And Stephen and Keith, they both know it's wrong, but they'll go along with it because this is us in charge now, and we gonna get you.
No, we're not gonna get. No, we're not gonna get anybody. It's gonna be real fair. We're not the bad guys. We've never done bad things to you. You do bad things to us.
History from Black people.
No. Well, the only thing, Todd, that we need is the truth. We just need the truth out there. Whatever the truth is, that's what I care about, Todd. I don't care about Republicans or Democrats, liberals or conservatives or libertarians or independents. I don't care, or Green Party. I don't care about anything. All I care about the truth. And whatever the truth is, that we can all come to like a 90% agreement of the truth. That's all I care about is the truth. I don't have my only agenda, Todd, is the truth. I care about the truth.
How would you know what the truth is?
I said we've got to find out what the truth is, Todd.
On and on and on.
We shouldn't argue with each other. We should all be in pursuit of the truth instead of fighting each other on what we think the truth is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Keith, your comments on the removal of certain historic facts from museums, specifically the Smithsonian African American History Museum.
Ooh. Oh, well, again, I don't know. I saw fragments. What you showed.
I don't know enough about
fragments. They were fragments of something that Trump did, but I don't know exactly what it is that I don't know exactly what he did.
Of course you don't.
I can't really comment too intelligently because I don't know exactly what that means. If you say the Smithsonian, I never even been to the Smithsonian,
whitewash,
and I don't know. All I know is one thing I do know. Will you let me finish my talk, please? I beg you guys, just to let me get a word out.
But you said you didn't
say. The only thing that I can comment on that is that all I know is that the states that the Bible is a part of our history that they're trying to put back into education, and the liberals don't want it. That to me is more important than what
I don't know if that's
truth. That's constitutionalists who don't.
There it is.
Thank you.
Karl Marx said that religion is the opioid of man.
Things, but it wasn't Karl Marx who said that. But
it was.
Anyway,
this is why we need museums and
libraries.
It
was Karl.
Even though people like Stephen wouldn't use them.
It was Karl Marx.
If you
it was Karl Marx.
Some of the behavior,
it was Elmer Fudd, you dummy.
you start looking at some of this, a lot of this is a distraction. These executive orders, there's some funding has already been appropriated, and it's more so smoke and mirrors than it is going to stick. This doesn't stop anyone from going to your normal library and going and doing your own research. Now, when they start banning books and start telling you what to read and all these other, historically,
Like
this
the
has been
Bible.
a very slippery slope.
Like the
And
Bible.
when you have all these people, especially theocratic fanatics like Keith is kind of propagating. What about Islam? What about the Bible versus no? These are historical museums. Again, these are free places where we as Americans can go and formulate our own opinions about what history is and everything. So when you start, especially from the government lens, starting to change and starting to dictate what that really means, what history is, I think there are other things, other priorities in this country other than taking funding from the Smithsonian. Because again, these things weren't broke. This is more so going down these ideologies, which are always dangerous in a democracy.
Preferences. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Pastor.
You think there's a Bible in the Smithsonian?
Yes, there is.
There actually is.
So the thing that kind of sticks out here is, I think this is like an old way of thinking, like 1920s, 1940s, around that era where you could lock down information. In this day and age, you not only can't lock down information, you can't really force a narrative on people. So when you attempt to do so, all that's going to do is drive up the outlets that give them the actual information, and people will search that out. As you see legacy media kind of losing so much respect and power because you can't drive that stuff on people anymore. So this is going to fail. It's a terrible idea. And the only thing that kind of scares me about this is, like, the nationalists who I know, one thing they always said was, you can't trust America to uphold things for Black people when Black people are involved. So when we go in and say we're part of the American tapestry of, what this country became, so we should have a space in there. And then you see something like this and you realize really quickly, like, if you don't own and control your thing, so like the independent museums here are doing fine. They're not having their stuff changed. But when you talk about the ones like that great museum that's in DC, which it is a great museum, the fact that you could be subject to the whims of the wrong election cycle, that's the part that kind of sticks out to me, to where it's like,
What is even going on about?
These are easily
Can you bring it to an end?
Where are the Jay-Z's? Where are the Jay-Z's, Beyonce's, and the Oprahs? Where are the Jay-Z's, Entrees, and Oprahs? They just need to privatize the museum, basically privatize the museum and take it out the government's hand.
All right. You Gotta Love YouTube says whitewashing of American history. Aguna said African American Museum has nothing to do with the cost of eggs. And You Gotta Love YouTube said right. And Chris C said, Keith, never surrender t-shirt. I'm laughing. I want to see you at a Trump rally. It will be comical.
Wow.
And then he said, damn, Keith is a MAGA bubble. All right. I want to move on.
He's actually a good guy deep down. He's a good guy.
They can't like him because he doesn't stay on the plantation. If you don't stay on the plantation, they hate you.
You know all about that.
I know all about that. Keith doesn't stand on the plantation. You better stand on the plantation. 94% of us vote Democrat every time we have an election. 94% of the Black people we vote Democrat because because we're independent thinkers. We're independent thinkers. Us Black people, 94%.
You heard this before.
We vote with David
Stacey, this is what you should kick him off for. This is the kind of stuff you should kick him off.
Because he always does that passive-aggressive racism stuff.
All right,
that ain't racist. That ain't racist at all.
Senior business correspondent Christine Romans joins me here in the studio. So, Christine, let's start with what happened at 12:01.
It is on major tariffs on big allies and trading partners of the United States. You said it, Craig, 25% on Canada and Mexico and another 10% on China. That brings the China bill up to 20% here. The U.S. has complained that its trading partners weren't doing enough to battle illegal immigration, the drug trade, and just generally the big trade deficits show America being ripped off, and the president very, very serious about these tariffs. Again, those are taxes at the border that ultimately can be borne by the consumer. So you could see this everywhere from your grocery store to the dealer's lot where you're buying a new car. Lots of places there. And then overnight, Craig, immediately you had retaliation from these trading partners. Canada came out and said that it would start to put 15% tariffs on about $150 billion worth of U.S. goods. And then in China, they also announced more retaliation. There a second round of retaliation, including on American agricultural exports. This is something in the first trade administration that really stung American farmers. And by the way, that retaliation, remember, resulted in taxpayers having to bail out farmers last time.
Now we expect to hear from Mexico's president later today as well.
She says she's got a plan A, B, C, and D to retaliate.
I know you spent the day in Detroit yesterday, spent some time talking to folks who work in the auto industry. What did they tell you, and where do you think we are going to feel most of the impact?
You'll feel it in a new car, you know, anywhere from $3,000 to up to $12,000 extra for the price of a new car. But maybe first, Craig, you're going to feel it in the grocery store. Think of all of those things that are imported from Mexico and China. Mexico in particular, all of that fresh produce, all these perishable items. From Canada, we get gasoline. From China, we get electronics and toys. So just about every facet of your life, there will be these higher prices that have to be passed along. So you could see all of that there. Mark Zandi over at Moody's Analytics says you should expect another $1,200 to $1,300 a year for the typical household just for the higher prices for all of these things. So this never is just one move. When you start talking about a trade war, somebody puts on a tariff, someone puts on another. It's a little bit of a circular firing squad, if you will. So you're starting to see acts from the United States and retaliation, likely raising prices in the near term for American consumers.
All right, Christine Romans on those new tariffs. Christine, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Yeah, that's great. Everything's great. The country's headed in the right direction.
He's weaning us off.
Also,
Hey,
excuse me, I
Stephen,
wanna,
he's
excuse
weaning
me,
us off the cocaine.
excuse me. I want to go to the next one, and this will be our round table. Where's my video? Okay, here we are.
We need to get away from China.
1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the the Great Depression, passed the bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which raised or lowered tariffs in an effort to collect
Even
government.
This is funny.
Anyone know the effects? It did not work as the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression. Today, we have a similar debate over this. Anyone know what this is, class? Anyone?
Wow.
Anyone seen this before?
This is the best clip we've ever shown.
Anyone know what this says? It says that at this point on the revenue, you will get exactly the same amount of revenue as at this point. This is very controversial. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? Anyone? Something DOO economics. Voodoo economics.
Wow.
Okay, thank you. That cousin Todd
That was great.
that I played the Ferris Bueller video for, I guess, a comparison. So this will be our roundtable about the tariffs that President Trump looks to put into effect at midnight tonight, less than a couple hours. Thank you, cousin Todd, for referral to a Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, that was solid.
Then Stephen, then Reverend Doctor's gone if he comes back. Then Aguna, then cousin Todd. How, Keith, you're going to talk about the tariffs President Trump is going to affect midnight tonight, and how these countries are going to retaliate, and how the iPhone is probably going to cost about $3,000 within the next year.
Well, if nobody interrupts me, I'll get through this. But it's amazing how tariffs are now bad because Trump initiates what, let's see, Schumer talked about back in the 80s and what Nancy Pelosi talked about. And by the way, they were still in power. So it all goes to show you there that they've been in power too long. But they talked about how bad tariffs were. We were getting screwed on the tariffs because we were being they were forcing tariffs on America that are unequal to the tariffs that we had put on them, that Trump wants to put on them. So Trump is now he's trying to level the playing field, and they don't like it. And a lot of other people don't like it. But the tariffs are working. The tariffs are working because companies are coming back to the United States. Also, companies and countries are trying to come back.
Which ones came back?
Taiwan wants to just deal with them. Let's see, you got Taiwan, you got other countries, you got some of the European countries. They want to come back. And in Indiana, the auto industry is coming back. So there are many companies that are coming back, and there are many countries that are asking for renegotiation. Why would you want to renegotiate if it was bad, if it was a bad deal? In other words, if it was a bad deal that benefited us, but you want to renegotiate.
Yeah, Keith is just talking about tariffs, about other countries wanting to deal with us, like 70 other countries want to deal with us. But what you're talking about, Aguna, is like that we have like $6 trillion in different companies around the world that want to do business with us now. We're going to go through the roof. Hey, if you like to invest, I like to invest. I've told my son yesterday, we invest a lot yesterday because we're at a bottom right now. Everything's getting ready to go up. It's going to be the golden age, like Trump said. Everything he said pretty much comes true. Everything he said is just about right. So go with that. That's what you should do. That's what everybody should do right now, because that's the way the world is going. But we need to get away from China. It's one of the main things we need to do. China is horrible. They treat people awfully. We have the deep state that treats people awfully too. But we're going to clean that up. We're going to be a better country than we ever were, and we're gonna take China down a notch, and our people and our country is going to do a whole lot better, because it's going on in the rest of the world that cannot be sustained. You cannot sustain the world on evil.
And Stephen, don't forget to mention the fact that we have been so dependent on all of these countries for so long that people like Aguna and Nas, they're going to come back at you and tell you how bad the tariffs are, because they are dependent on global economy.
We can't be dependent on them no more. We got to bring all these businesses back to us. We have to do it. Even if it's machines doing, that's going to be an argument they're going to say as well. It may be machines, but at least it'll be in this country. At least this country, and we can program the machines in this country.
Reverend Dr. Pastor.
MAGA.
I'm really interested to hear what Cousin Todd and Aguna say about this. But ultimately, when you're talking about tariffs, as you see, all it is beggar your neighbor policy. You're trying to take from them, they're trying to take from you. In the end, everybody loses. That's essentially what happens with tariff fights. But the thing with China is kind of interesting to me to hear like MAGA people talk about it, because I don't think they really understand American-China relations and Chinese relations. China is the global exporter of the world. We are the global importer of the world. What does that allow us to do? It allows us to have the strongest currency on earth, which means China and everybody else trades with US dollars. Now, the more people you start these tiffs with and fights with, let's say they start throwing euros in their central bank and decide they're not going to trade with the dollar anymore. Like, this is the one thing that could kill the golden goose, this idea that in a globalized economy, you can become just the one sole power that determines everything. Right now, Europe is discussing countermeasures, and they're going to drop them on us unexpectedly the same way we dropped them on them, which is going to cause problems. Now, we had a stock market crash and losses of like great magnitudes. We haven't seen this since the Great Depression. And these people are saying, well, he must be doing things right. The economy
Great Depression.
Like, no, it's not going well. Like, this is going terribly, as we all predicted it would, as we all said. This was in Project 2025 when he kept saying that he doesn't know what that is and he's not involved in it. Well, they continue to follow the steps one by the other. So yeah, this is just kind of sad to see so many people. And I feel bad for regular folks who are they're gonna get on their phones and say, I'm gonna get on there and start stock trading. And they are gonna get rinsed The whales are going to rinse you. They can see you morons coming a mile away. And I'm in there.
Okay, thank you. Aguna.
Yeah, if people sell right now, they're in trouble. Nobody should sell. Just hold what you got or buy now. You
How
can
can
buy,
you buy? You
but
can't
don't
afford
sell
anything.
nothing. You can buy right now, but
How
don't
can you
sell.
buy? You can't.
I would be buying
kind of
buy
funny.
right now.
It's kind of funny hearing people who have no economic sense try to talk economically. You know, it's interesting. I will say this: it's funny how
What would you buy?
you saw what happened on Wall Street, where you know they're not scared of the economy; they're scared of the uncertainty. So what you have is a bubble, and it's going to correct itself. So there is some truth in the fact that the market's going to come back. The issue is, you know, the uncertainty around what the current administration's policy is. That's what
Life is
traders are
uncertain, my
speculating.
friend.
And that, see, I didn't interrupt you. I did not interrupt you at all. Right?
Life
So,
is uncertain. Go
see,
ahead.
there you go. There you go.
Go.
So at the end of the day, thank you. So at the end of the day, when you hear people like Keith and Steven talk this nonsense about tariffs being good and everything, yeah, it's this administration's way of trying to toy with the market and see what they can get away with. Investors are ready to come back. They know manufacturing jobs aren't coming back. It's just cost prohibitive to make things in this country. They know that. They just want to see what this new world order is going to be. Now, what we run the risk is, and Nas alluded to it, they're just buying time. If a country comes and says, hey, you know what, I want to negotiate this trade deficit. Meanwhile, they're looking for alternative supply chains. And this is a global economy, whether we like it or not. It's not whether or not we want it to be. It is. It's a lot of innovation out there. Countries don't have to come to the U.S. It's been that way because it's easy for them to do so. But when you insert uncertainty and when you start messing with the credit rating of the United States, and you start looking at other world currencies like in China, like in India, where you have an upwardly mobile middle class that is consuming the goods that we may not, and they have disposable income where we're going to end up not having because our consumer uncertainty is going up. All I'm saying is tariff or taxes. And so if you sit there and say taxes are a good thing, and I think the president is bluffing, and if he's bluffing, then he's kind of taking a lot of negotiation off the table because once the market starts figuring out that he's bluffing, they're not going to build a multi-billion-dollar plant in this country. They're not going to do that, especially if the administration is only going to be intact for the next 4 years. No company's making that type of investment. And it's not that we don't want the president to be successful. Hey, I think he's doing a good job of spooking the market. But the thing is, even if it was to come back now, you're still getting it back to where it was prior to him being in office. So are you really gaining anything other than, you know, and most Americans don't play in the market like that. These are most companies, big banks are custodials of a lot of this stuff. So they're hedging their bets. So the little man sitting there feeling good about what's going on right now, which you really should, because the uncertainty is only going to hit you. So to think that, hey, you're a loser, look, at the end of the day, when you go and look at the price of eggs, you look at the groceries, the consumer gets hit every time. There's no reason why we should be negotiating a trade deal with Japan on rice, where 90% of the rice that's made in this country is consumed in this country. You know, so if the fact that they have 100% tariff on our rice, when most of the rice in this country we consume it anyway, it's made in Arkansas or Mississippi. You know, there are a lot of sushi restaurants in this country. We're importing rice to keep the cost low.
We don't even know what you're
not
talking
for
about
them.
at this point.
Exactly. You don't even understand.
No, we don't
economics.
even understand all the
You
minutia.
don't
You're in the
understand.
minutia.
You don't understand the cost of rice.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Nobody cares. Nobody
This
cares.
whole trade war, this whole trade
Thank you,
war is
Guna.
overblown.
Just
Nobody
a minute,
cares.
Stacey.
Who
This
doesn't
is
care because it makes
I would
sense.
turn. I would
Thank
turn
you.
the.
That's your turn, Stephen.
Shut
Stephen.
up.
They didn't talk while you talk, but Aguna, you got to
Exactly.
stop now. Thank you, Cousin Todd.
okay. Well, I hated that Stacey stopped Aguna from explaining, though he was getting wordy, but he was explaining what tariffs are in simple terms so that Stephen would understand
I don't want to
rice.
understand.
Rice, that China makes rice. You know, they have rice patties, but that's not where we get all of our rice.
No
From the United
kidding.
States.
We know.
Okay.
So why?
Yeah.
So what's the
Go ahead.
purpose of
No,
a
no,
tariff?
this
The
is
tariff
Todd's.
only hurts
This
us.
is Todd's roundtable. Don't talk over it. Go
Well,
ahead. Then
this
we
is
Going to drive the price of rice up.
this is what we were trying to explain about in simple terms. But now I'll even go further back to where tariffs started, and rich people love tariffs because it was the poor people in the early 1900s that was stuck paying high prices for everything. And it was the common people like Stephen and Keith that said, we've got to stop these tariffs. So that's when it changed to you paying taxes, not through tariffs, just paying taxes. You see, it wasn't always that way. So, but regular people like you, Keith, and you, Stephen, poor people were bearing the brunt of all of these tariffs. So they switched it. And now all you have to do is pay your taxes. And now you know what your egg prices are going to be, what your bread prices are going to be. So it was better for regular people.
And Stacey, let me just make one point. Can I make one point? In the 80s, the U.S. car manufacturers loved tariffs because they didn't want to compete against the Japanese cars, which were a lot cheaper and more efficient. So they used tariffs and they lobbied the American government to keep tariffs intact so they wouldn't have to be innovative and compete with Japanese and Asian car manufacturers. So what happened the Japanese auto manufacturers came, they built plants here, and they still made more money, but it forced the American companies to become more innovative. So when you put tariffs in place, you actually it's like a welfare system where, well, I know you guys don't like welfare, but that's what it is, because you're forcing American companies not to be innovative.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Read a history book.
But can I just say this? Keith and I believe that we should have the status quo of what we have right now.
Okay, thank you.
What the hell are you
I want to
talking about?
show comment from Aguna. Companies aren't coming back. And Chris C said, which companies are coming back to the United States? Where, when, boy, stop tripping, LOL.
There's been a whole list of all these companies coming back. It's about
Name
$6
one.
trillion.
Name one.
At least $6 trillion are coming
Name
back.
one.
You really don't know?
Name one.
You want to bet me that it's not at least
Okay,
6 trillion,
Just
if not
name
more?
one.
All right. He's
Just
not going to
name
name
one.
one. He's not going to name anything.
Name
because
one.
he
You said
doesn't
there's a
know
bunch
any.
of name one.
But let me just say this.
go
I
ahead,
don't have the
That's
list
why
in front of me, Aguna.
when you come on this show, know your research, man.
Okay.
Then shut up.
Aguna,
You
I don't
can't
have
make
the
an
list in
argument.
front of
Shut up.
me, but it's trillions of dollars in companies that want to come here. No, you can't.
Todd is trying to say something.
You can't dismiss what I'm saying.
Okay, no.
You don't even know what you're
Say
saying.
and then you
I
guys
know what I'm saying.
all right.
Name one.
Stop. I'd like to say to happy heavenly birthday to my Uncle Lewis. I don't know if you all remember, he came on the show back when he was nice enough to give us the time to come on the show back when we were on Blog Talk Radio. Lewis Fisher was a South Carolina State graduate, a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, a football player at South Carolina State University who played with the famous Deacon Jones. He was roommates with Jones. Unfortunately, he left us right after my mother did, and we miss him terribly. And today's his birthday, so happy heavenly birthday, Uncle Lewis.
Yeah, I remember him, Stacy. Happy birthday, Uncle Lewis.
Yeah, thank you.
He was a really good guy. Really good guy.
Yes,
Actually, he died 2 months after Stacy's mother. I think he died. B died in December, and I think Lewis died in February.
Yes.
Isn't that outrageous?
Yeah.
And it's just okay.
You never know.
All right. So to our first responders in our communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to our women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do in sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose on the show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Aguna,
No.
reason.
I
Keith,
try.
Keith, he disappeared. The constitutional conservative.
Keith, why wouldn't he put his camera on?
The independent thinker.
Sun kiss.
Reverend Dr. Pastor for joining us. And my cousin Todd, who is incognito.
Oh no, Stacy, you did not.
Thank you for joining us. You gotta love YouTube. Said you look great, by the way, Stacy. Oh, thank you.
Your hair, Stacey. It's got like a silver. It's like a Superman look through it. Like it's almost like it's, I don't know, but like a not like a cartoon, but like a caricature. It's got a really, it's really looks unique.
That's not a compliment.
No. I looked at it on the
that
TV.
smooth
I
talker
can't
right
see
there.
on here, but I look on the TV. It has this real silvery look, and it looks like something that's from like a really cool comic. You know what I mean? When they do the hair really cool, like it's like Superman has like blue hair. Superman has a little bit of blue hair. Like your hair looks really, really, really cool. The way they did. That's something new, right?
Steven, you've been married a long time, brother. You've been out the game a long time, brother. That was.
Oh no, I haven't been married
smooth.
for like 15 years. No,
God.
I'm all in the game, man.
So
you better practice, man.
All right, so check us out on like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sporlitiks. Check us out on Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network. Like us on Instagram. Like us on TikTok. And follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Sporlitiks.com on TikTok. Sporlitiks.com on TikTok. Check us out on Twitch and on X at Sporlitiks. And did I forget any social media? Oh, Facebook. Like and subscribe to us on Facebook. We'll see you next week. Good night.
No, it looks good, Stacey. But it's still.
You're trying to clean it up. You're trying to clean it up.
Clean it up. What's so bad? It's my natural color. It looks like
It looks really, really cool. I have it on the TV. I haven't had it on the TV before. When I got up and I walked past the TV, I saw your hair and I hadn't seen it before because on the phone you're this big. On the TV you're like this big. So I saw it. It was like, wow, look at your hair. Looks really good. Maybe it looks like that every week, but I hadn't seen it yet. Because all I see, I swear, it's this big. I struggle. When you show stuff for us to read, I go like this.
Yeah.
I'm all right up on it. I can't
A child discovers sizes. Amazing.
Hey, may I have your attention, everyone?
No. Hey,
May I have
Aguna,
your
are you
attention?
gaining weight?
Am I gaining weight? Yeah, I am.
You
I
are.
I'll show
you
myself,
better
but
do
let me-
something. You ain't getting no
just give me
younger.
Just
I
give me a
am.
minute. Just give me a minute. I'll show myself, but I want to show you. I want to read to you. I have this on my phone,
my
and I just
God.
looked it up.
Jesus Christ.
Let's see. Investment pledges. Many companies are committing to investing billions of dollars in the U.S. economy.
Who's
They
coming
weren't
back?
going to do it anyway.
After the
They weren't
tariffs,
going to do this anyway. They weren't going to
indicating
do
a
it
trend
anyway.
of reshoring.
Who's
Tariff
coming back?
influence. Tariffs it says tariffs have seen a catalyst for reshoring with companies along to reduce risks and associated with
Which
overseas
companies?
operations. Now, here are the companies.
Like
Johnson
Altria?
and Johnson.
Yeah.
Johnson and Johnson.
Johnson and Johnson
Taiwan.
is based in New Jersey.
Manufacturing.
They're in New
So-
Jersey.
Yeah, they're coming back. They're bringing.
They've
They're
always
putting more
been here.
investments. Yes,
They've
more
always been here.
investment. Yes, but they're doing more.
But they're
That's what it
based in
says.
here means they have an office, Aguna. They have an office, but they don't have a manufacturing.
No, yes,
They don't have manufacturing here, but they have an office.
In New Jersey.
Yeah, they are from here, but they don't have manufacturing. Aguna, we have to bring back manufacturing. Aguna, we have to bring back manufacturing, or we're not going to have a country because we can't have China manufacturing all of our stuff anymore because China is the enemy. Aguna, China is our enemy. They can't. We cannot depend on China any longer, Aguna. Aguna, we can't. We cannot. We cannot depend on China.
Threat on foreign chips that it would invest another $100 billion into the U.S. operations. So that's Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing
Nobody
Company.
is screwing chips into phones.
Another
in the United
$100
States.
billion.
It's cost prohibitive.
Thanks to Joe
tariffs.
Biden and the CHIPS Act. I'm glad you're congratulating
So
him.
just
But let me just I got you, Keith. Let me just explain something real quick.
Chip fabrication plants.
So now every
to-
investment in the United States is
to
because of
advanced
tariffs.
packaging.
Right.
companies
That's what they're
Now
doing.
they're going to try
and
to
a
claim
new
every
research
investment in the United States
and
because of these
design
tariffs.
center will
Okay,
increase the company's total investment.
we
He's
heard
gonna
you.
keep talking.
Wow.
He's
We
making
heard
stuff
you.
up.
Let's
He's making it up.
let's hold on for 1 second. I want you guys to think about company pledges though, because this is really interesting. So Aguna's laughing already because he knows these things aren't actionable and there's no legal recourse for it. So go back to 2020, the height of Black Lives Matter, after George Floyd, everything's going on. What did companies in America do? They said we will pledge over $5 billion to BLM and all of these other activities. And you
Yes,
know what
indeed.
happened?
Nothing.
6 months to a year later, they all slowly withdrew their pledges and the money never came.
Oh, the money
Because
did
that's how
go. The
these
money
things
did
go.
go to the
You
people,
say
and they spend it
so.
on their own
Oh,
houses and a
Just
lot of
hold
riches
on,
for
hold on.
themselves.
Thank
Yeah,
He's
they
you.
making
got
it
a
up.
lot of
Two
money.
You're
mansions in
opening
Yeah,
your
the
mouth
three
and
San Diego.
putting your mind
lesbian
on
women who
display. Hold on
started
1 second.
BLM, they
Yeah.
got a
Hold on 1
lot of
second.
money. They got millions and
Hold on 1
millions and
second.
millions, and they bought
Hold
houses and
on 1
everything for
second. You
themselves.
don't know what you're
BLM
talking
was a
about.
joke, and
He's making it up. He's
You
making it
don't
up.
know
He
what you're
doesn't know how
talking
many
about.
facts. He's gonna make this up.
Right.
Aguna's
He's just gonna make it up.
So
make
so the
what up?
fact so
Sure.
the
What you
fact
just
that
did.
somebody stole money from an NGO is not anything new or nonprofit. It's not
Aguna's
anything new.
company
That
gave to
happens.
BLM.
We were talking about
What company
corporate
is that?
America
What company is
making
BLM
that?
pledges of money that they were going to give
BLM
when
is
they
nothing but a
knew
setup.
if the mood of the
What company
country
was that?
changed, they would not hold on to those pledges.
Mhm.
Similar to what
You're
you just
right,
saw with
Stephen.
this, where companies are
Exactly.
talking about
You're
they're
You're
right,
right.
pledging
Stephen. I don't
X,
even know
Y,
what
and
you're
Z.
talking about. I don't even know what
You
I'm
brought
talking about, but you're right,
they have
Stephen.
two hey Stephen,
You're
by
right,
the
This
way,
has
Stephen.
already
Hold
been
on 1 second.
tried.
One
This has
down.
second.
already been prosecuted.
Stephen,
We know
And
the
one second.
truth,
One,
You
Pete.
one
have
second.
no
their house
We
facts.
burned
talk.
down.
Okay,
Don't
You
good
have
worry,
night.
no
guys.
facts.
Yeah, you're
Nobody
right.
Good
can
night.
hit anybody because everyone's talking over everyone. And even though the show is over, people still want to hear what you have to say. You can't just
We
talk,
try, but
and not let
but
somebody else
you
talk.
got these clowns on the show trying to talk
Yeah, we got
economics.
these clowns
Lindsay.
on the show that supported
Good
Biden.
night. Good night.
Peace and love. Couldn't say anything